Okay, I got one more story for you. This is actually a fun one. I mean, it's not fun because it's involving politics, and our politics is absolute dog shit these days. But this one's kind of fun because we get to make fun of the powers that be a little bit. Now, Donald Trump, if you guys remember, I mean, he almost says it on the daily basis, that Joe Biden was the worst president that ever lived, and he didn't have two brain cells left to rub together, and that none of the bad stuff that would, that happened under Joe Biden would ever happen under me because I'm a big, smart boy and I'm tough and I know how to negotiate and all of my words are good and the best words and, everything is tremendous and wonderful. And, immediately turning around and saying that Joe Biden didn't do anything. He couldn't find his ass with both hands and everything he signed was done with auto pen. But Donald Trump has been slipping. I don't know if y'all have noticed or not. Look, messing up a word or two here and there, that's one thing. It happens to the best of us. I can barely get through a show without mixing up a word or two. It happens to us. And I remember, Joe Biden during his presidency, he had that incident where he was walking up the stairs to get onto Air Force One, and he slipped and tripped like 2 or 3 times. It was kind of hilarious, but he still managed to get up on his skinny legs and get himself into the plane. Well, it was a couple days ago, Donald Trump did exactly the same thing, even though for 4 years they had been criticizing him. He can barely walk. He doesn't know his own name. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and defend Joe Biden, okay? We all knew that Joe Biden didn't have his faculties together, even when he was running against Bernie Sanders in the primary. So I'm not here to defend Joe Biden whatsoever. And I remember, there was a lot of talk and rhetoric about, I would vote for a ham sandwich over Donald Trump as much as he screwed up the pandemic. And by the way, Donald Trump was the guy that locked us down in the pandemic. Donald Trump was involved in all of that shit, and the vaccine. Oh, how dare Fauci put the vaccine into me? They're putting the chips in me. Oh my God, they're coming to get me. They're trying to put like brain waves in my head. And hold on, let me get my tinfoil hat. That was Donald Trump. Donald Trump did the Operation Warp Speed. They gave you the vaccine. Donald Trump is the one who shut down everything. He's the one that shut down your business. It was not Joe Biden. It was Donald fucking Trump. And he was screwing up so goddamn bad that we, as the American public, were willing to elect a fucking ham sandwich. It did not matter who was on the Democratic ticket. We would have voted for him because Donald Trump, we'd had 4 years of him ending with a complete clusterfuck during the pandemic. So it did not matter how much brain cells he had. Now, like I said, not defending Joe Biden, but Donald Trump has been screaming and yelling about how, bad a president he was and how he could barely talk and he, he doesn't have 2 brain cells to rub together. Well, let's take a look at this cute little video that I found it's just awesome. Gives me the chuckles like nothing else. Wait, shit. I'm sorry. Don't have it on screen. Seems to be a bit of an issue here. Let me fix this for you. There he is. Let's start that one over. I don't want you to miss any of the glory of this, okay?
Colleges and universities will purge the anti-Semitism and pro-terrorism.
3 years later, how about that? The Arabian Russia will repeat to
Venezuela.
Oh, come on, man. He just completely Donald Trump, look, the difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, I don't want to get off on a tangent, I'll just make this quick, but the difference between Joe Biden and Donald Trump is Joe Biden obviously looked like he was slipping into some kind of dementia. And, he did not have a lot of force, a lot of air in his lungs to be able to push out, any kind of rhetoric whatsoever. Donald Trump will start to say something really stupid or he'll lose his thought and then he'll just immediately switch and I do the weave, folks. I'm weaving all over the place. And he'll just stop he realizes he's not able to pronounce a word or not be able to get a sentence out, and then immediately pivots and says something else with a lot of force. And if, just a quick reminder, Joe Rogan, I remember seeing this clip on Joe Rogan where he was criticizing Joe Biden for quoting Donald Trump. Donald Trump said that during the George Washington, during the Revolutionary War, that the American army was guarding the airports. And Joe Biden was quoting Donald Trump because Donald Trump said that. And then Joe Rogan hears Biden say it and thinks, oh my God, Biden has fucking lost it, man. I mean, listen to this guy. He doesn't know airports during the Revolutionary War. And then his boy Jamie corrected him. And he says, actually, Joe Biden was quoting Donald Trump. Donald Trump said that. And he plays the clip of Donald Trump saying it. And then Joe Biden immediately goes, oh, well, we screw up our words sometimes. Whatever. 2 seconds ago, you were saying that Joe Biden had lost it. And meanwhile, Donald Trump's actually the guy that said it, and you give him a complete pass. Anyway, I'll try not to interrupt anymore, but this is just, it's funny shit.
Did you just see Maduro, Venezuela? It's unbelievable. Best trade deal ever made, they all say. A giant win for farmers and manufacturers, Mexico and Canada. I use Master Lock all the time. When I was a little child, I'd take Master Lock, I'd go lots of nice little puzzles you put them.
All right, keep it an eye.
This is the worst border in the history of the world. There's never been, no third world country has a border like that. And no third, I'll tell you what, and I hope the military revolts at the voting booth to give the American people their voice back by building something called Truth Central. This is the very definition of totalitarianism. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation, the beginnings of that investigation. The biggest lie ever foisted upon the American people. He was awarded the Bronze Star and the Combat Infantryman Badge for his service. Normal times, roughly 40% of fresh vegetables and about 40% in the failing New York Times by an anonymous, gutless,
You try it.
Coward. Your campaign of terror, murder, mayhem will not be tolerated any longer. It will not be allowed to go forward. God bless the United States. Thank you very much.
I believe that was when his dentures were loose. I'll give him a pass on that one. I think he had loose dentures at the time. Of course, they didn't admit to that, but it looked like he was fumbling around during that speech with his, with his dentures in his mouth. And by the way, if y'all remember, he used to give Barack Obama a whole lot of shit for reading off of a teleprompter. And Donald Trump has always got 2 teleprompters on either side of him. The problem with Donald Trump is he cannot read very well. I don't think he can see very well, and he's got a marble mouth, and when you throw a word with more than 3 syllables in it, he has a difficult time pronunciation. So, here we are. Thank you very, very much. Anyway, there's a little bit more. It's just funny shit.
Going any further, I want to say God bless the people of Israel. They're under attack right now. That's because we show great weakness. To teach transgender to our children without parental consent. No, nobody has to have parental consent, and we will totally oppose the Biden administration at this. I will also order our government to deny entry to all communists and Marxists. Look, we have Marxists, fascists, communists. They're pouring into our country. We are going to deny them access to our country. Now, the one problem, Joe Biden's granting mass thinking, decided to shield and shelter criminal. Look.
Oh my God. Come on, folks. That is just absolutely hilarious. That is some funny ass shit right there. Take a look at him, our big old sweaty, just big boy burger over here, Burger Reich Donald Trump, having the hardest damn time being able to spit out a word or two. But Joe Biden in the auto pen, Joe Biden in the dementia, Joe Biden, he doesn't have two brain cells. Hey, he's not a smart guy. He's the worst president ever. None of this bad stuff would ever happen if I be president. Meanwhile, our economy's in the crapper. We have got American soldiers, boots on the ground in America, policing American citizens. We have ICE acting as a Nazi-like Gestapo, going after day laborers and immigrants who have never committed a crime. He is on the Epstein list. He is trying to get us into a war with Iran. Look, there's no other way of getting around it. He is getting us into that war. That's what he's doing. He's on the Epstein list. We all knew this, but his biggest, bravest big boy with the biggest pockets just outed him last week. Of course, he turned around and was like, I regret some of the things that I posted last week. Which ones? The one where you said you won him the election. The one where you said that his bill is bullshit. The one there you said that he was on the Lolita Express and that he's in the Epstein file. He is weak. Donald Trump is weak. He sucks at his job. This is not 4D chess. What Israel is doing right now in Iran, Donald Trump is just a pawn on the board being moved around. When Donald Trump fucks with tariffs and crashes our economy and you watch your prices of your goods soar through the roof, that is not 3D, 4D, 5D chess. Because as soon as he realizes it's looking bad for him, then he backs away from it. He gets all taco and chickens out, which, by the way, I'm glad he does, because if he was even more bullheaded, it would be worse. But I mean, tariffs aside, our prices of our goods are going up. A more war in the Middle East will mean that our gas prices will continue to rise. It is not art of the deal. He's not playing some magical chess game. Donald Trump sucks at his job. Every decision that he has made since he has been president for this second term has all been bad. It has all been detrimental to either you as a consumer, you as an American. Our domestic products are getting more expensive. All of the foreign affairs are getting much worse. I was going to end the war with Russia and Ukraine on day one. Turns out that it's a lot harder than we thought it was, folks. It's a lot harder than we thought. And I don't understand why Putin is doing the things he's doing. Y'all remember the whole... We're gonna fix healthcare. It's gonna take just 2 weeks. You wait 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks later, it's gonna take 2 weeks. 2 weeks later, it's gonna take 2 weeks. A month later, it's gonna take 2 weeks. And then after about 2 years of this shit, nobody knew that healthcare was this hard. Honey, we all knew that healthcare was this hard. He is bad at his job. He's losing his mind. He changes his mind every day about a myriad of issues. He just changed his mind on whether or not he wants ICE to raid farms, in southern states where they don't have anybody else to pick those vegetables. You think Americans going to go out there and pick those vegetables? They're sure as shit not going to do it for the, $50 a day that they're paying those immigrants to go out and pick tomatoes? You think an American is going to do that? You crazy? You think an American is going to, work in a clean room making iPhones like they do in China? Do you think that we even have the skill set for that stuff? Adding tariffs without doing industrial policy, that is ruining our economy. We're on our way to a recession. By the way, we're probably already in a recession as it is. I guarantee you that your paycheck is not stretching as far as it used to just a couple of months ago. And all of this is just a distraction so they can pass their big, beautiful tax cuts for their mega donors. If you were worried about health care for poor people, then you'd cut that $4.5 trillion tax cut down to $3.5 trillion. But you're not, because you don't care. Everything that's going on in LA, all the bullshit in the Middle East, all of the psychotic fascist rhetoric, it's just a distraction. Don't look at the bill. Don't look at the Epstein file. Just pay attention to the carnage that's on your television screen, on your computer screen, on your phone screen. And I will come up with a new accusation, a new bit of craziness, another slur that will take your mind off of what I'm doing behind the scenes. Anyway, that's show for the day. I hope you guys have a good weekend. There's a big protest that's going on right now. I am getting ready to get my act together and go out there and see it. I hope you guys have a good day. And if you got a protest to go to, be safe, be smart. If you see somebody doing some craziness, trying to instigate, some violence, either step away from them or subdue them. We do not need to egg on our peaceful protest to give Donald Trump or any of his goons any justification of going after us. We want it peaceful, and we want to stand strong. And just so you know, there are way more of us than there are of these fascists. Just keep that in mind, and try to go out there and have a good time. Meet some people, meet some of your community members. Realize that you are not alone. That's what this is all about. We're all feeling kind of dejected. We're feeling kind of worried and troubled. You will always feel better when you meet other people who are like-minded and who are feeling the same way. It's going to give you some uplift, and it's good for your soul. And it also lets these fascist bastards know that we're not going to take that shit no more. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Thanks so much for tuning in and watching. If you wouldn't mind, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out in the algorithm. And I will catch you next time. You have a good one. Bye-bye. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe. Keep rocking.